Why valid reasons are holding you back from doing whatever you want.
Excuses, are they real or created? Today we'll find out.
Is a reason an excuse, an alibi, or both?
Are excuses real? Are yours real? Find out today.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Brandon.
I'm Matt.
And this is Breakthrough Stories, where we talk about things that do stuff and help people.
Hopefully.
So today we're actually talking about, we're not actually sure how to pin it, excuses, alibis, reasons. We actually couldn't meet on a common ground in the middle because they're all so relative. And which one is it? Is it an alibi? Is it a reason? Is it an excuse? How do you know which? That's actually what we should be talking
Does it
about.
matter? I don't know, but we're going to go down
Let's
this rabbit
figure it
hole
out.
anyway. So excuses, that sounds dirtier than alibi for sure. There's some deep inherent
They're pretty
meaning
similar.
that makes, because if I say I have an excuse for something, I have to inherently assume that I'm part
Cheating?
of that issue.
Yeah.
That issue belongs to me. I've made an excuse, or I have an excuse, or I found an excuse. That means I take ownership of it.
You're
that makes it weird.
automatically accepting blame when you say excuse.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alibi, though, alibis are great. Alibi means that I could not have done the bad thing, or I only did the bad thing because I was in this situation at this time, this place, with these people, and it all revolves around the circumstances. I'm in a bad place because of my circumstances. That's my alibi.
But doesn't an alibi also mean it's accepted that it's a story and not the truth?
I don't know. I guess it could.
Because if somebody has an alibi, obviously we're going to go LA law or whatever courtroom drama we're
Criminal
talking
stuff.
about.
Yeah.
And it's obviously this liar over here has an alibi that places him away from the murder.
Mm-hmm. Still his excuse. Yeah.
Yes, but it's in my brain, and maybe it's not true, but it has the connotation of being
Justifiable.
a story that may or may not be true, but allows you to escape something.
So an alibi is just that until it's confirmed, right? Your alibi is the story that allows you to stay away from the negative thing, but it can be confirmed or disproven.
Yeah, that's that. Now we're getting somewhere, because that's what I want to tie it all to reasons, because our brain is reasoning all the time. We're very logical people, most of us,
Sometimes.
and for good, for better, and for worse. And we're always trying to reason away things. And one thing I've known about the human body, or that I've learned more and more as I research these meat suits, is that it is the world's most adaptive creature, and it will find a way to make babies, to kill other organisms, and justify and have a reason and an alibi to do so, and say, I didn't have a choice, it's what had to be done. Or you don't even think at all and you do it. You don't even need an excuse for a lot of the things. So being that our bodies can do what needs done and our brains do automatic things to make things happen out of necessity, we can absolutely come up with a reason that's acceptable for our brains to go, that's why I did that, I do it again.
Yeah. I think we're hardwired for safety. And in the world we live in today, no one has to go out and chop water, carry wood, or defend yourself from the wild animal, the tribe down the street. So the world we live in today, for the most part,
It definitely exists.
right, it exists. And it exists more in other places than others. However, being that our normal day-to-day is not seeking safety, we now seek comfort. And that deep embedded doggy brain that says, be comfortable, leads us down a path of, what can I not do to be more comfortable? Or what do I need to do, crazily enough, to get in a position where I can coast and be more comfortable? So I think that's where a lot of these, I'll call them excuses for myself, come into play. Usually for me, if I have an excuse and I really sit down and think about it, and this is ridiculous that I even sit down and think about it, but if I say, I have to work on this project, it's easier for me once I come through it in my mind to say, I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. This might be a 14-hour project, but I'm actually going to set a timer for 15 minutes and sit down and start it. And that breaks that crust of, oh my God, I'm never going to get through this project, and makes it a one thing at a time process now. And it kind of pushes away all that surface of bullcrap that I created out of thin air, thinking that this is a daunting task. It's a hard task. It's a task I can't do. All the typical things we tell ourselves, whether it's out loud to somebody else or just in our heads, to just start. Action beats all things, I think. If you have a shitty plan, that's fine. Take actionable steps towards it. Adjust fire as you go.
Literal movement.
Yeah.
A lot of this came up because I was finishing the book that you gave me, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, on the last few pages. And of course, the instructions throughout this book are, once you finish it and you go back and read it 6 more times over the next 2 months. So I obviously on my first time around,
it's such an odd book.
So, but I mean, I get why they're saying that now that I've been through it. But in the last chapter, in the last few pages, and the last bullet point here, number 55, is famous alibis, and they're all the famous criminals here, the easy ones. If I didn't have a family and a wife, if I didn't have enough, if I only had enough pull, if I only had enough money, if I had a good education, if I could get a job. This one's tough. If I only had good health. Some of these are rough. Some of these do feel like gut punches because they're staring me in the face. About a lot of them were in the past, what I'd tell myself, and actually feel good about not being able to do something hard. And go, well, I can't because I have these responsibilities. Whether it's I have a family or the money I have is limited, therefore I can't make those decisions or even have those thoughts. The big thing for me was those thoughts were completely justified, and I don't care who you would have asked, the Pope or Buddha or whoever, they'd go,
I understand.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You can't do those things because of the reason you gave me.
And I think that even if someone from the outside does not see them as an obstacle, if you believe it, it's still correct, which is why it's so important to guard your mind, to understand what you're thinking, to not just be a meat suit puppet walking around doing the thing, but to do a thing with a plan and to evaluate yourself along the way. If we just walk down the path that's put in front of us, we'll always be on that same path as everybody else.
You mean don't surround myself with people that constantly tell me that I'm right and,
you're right. You should do something else.
Agree with my complaints, and we get together after work and complain about the government and complain about religion and complain about our wives. And
I've been wanting to do this for a while. So you at home, do this. Don't do it with your spouse or your girlfriend, but engage in a conversation with a friend, a coworker, an extended family member, and go up to them and just ask how their day is or ask how their week or month is, and allow them that in immediately that they'll probably take to go, well, my car broke down or whatever.
Not everyone.
Not everybody.
There are some positive people out there.
You know the person I'm talking about. Go engage with them.
Yeah, there's definitely some.
And just for the sake of engagement and to review this, don't do this to antagonize someone, but let them bring the excuse to the forefront. And instead of being sympathetic to it, I'm not saying that you have to be negative about it, but engage them in a way that you would have in the past. Meaning, my car broke down and it cost me $3,000. And then I can't wait to say fast enough, oh yeah, 6 months ago, my carburetor went out. Or I remember a year and a half ago or 10 years ago in '03, whatever year we were talking about, I had a transmission drop on a vacation. And let me tell you the story about how hard it was and how much money it cost me. And then wait for them to see what they throw in next. And then engage them again. And see how far you can go down this rabbit hole.
How dare you make assumptions?
Bad shit happens.
I love to go out and play human experimentation.
Yeah, it's great.
On a day-to-day
You got to try
basis.
it. Yeah, go to Walmart and engage people.
And then when the people actually figure out that you're not playing a game, but you're literally just beta testing and go, ABC, I'm going to try these 3 things and see
You're playing table tennis with an idea.
But one thing I wanted to mention on what you said about, whether it's the negative people, because I've been that person plenty in my
Same
life.
here.
So I've got no room to talk. It's just now that I can see it, it's a different story. But when those people, whether it's those people or something else, even talking to myself, you mentioned it's okay to have sympathy for them, whatnot. I've reframed that because I just wasn't up to snuff on my definitions, but empathy. You can feel, and the word's not sorry, but you can understand someone's situation and have compassion for them without feeling bad and without mirroring their sorrow, without hurting yourself. So you can go, I understand what this is, especially if you've been there before. So I find myself now, before I complain, or maybe after I complain, hearing myself and go, "Oh, you poor baby, that must
Right.
be tough." Do it anyway, something like that. Because I have empathy for myself and go, "It does hurt.
Right.
This is something I wouldn't have done before. I would have stopped here." And you can, and you know what it feels like to stop. So that's a choice.
I'm going out on a limb here, but I believe it's Freud, Nietzsche, and Tesla all believed that emotional energy creates your reality. That it's not just all types of energy, which I think it's probably all inclusive myself, but I don't know. But their theory was emotional energy is what created the strongest patterns to create your environment.
There's a lot of that in the Napoleon Hill book about energy and matter and what we believe creates.
Yeah, famous psychologist and Nikola Tesla both agreed on those things. So this is an odd marriage of that idea for sure.
Yeah, definitely differing opinions, but meet in the middle on that one.
Right.
But yeah, it is interesting.
Give me your latest excuse you come up with for something you've been trying to do or failed at.
Timeline has been what I've been going down now, because I'm caught in the middle of, I want to accelerate my timeline on things I want to accomplish, and I don't feel there should be any excuses to do so. And I'm obviously trying to write down the realistic sacrifices that'll have to be made, and going, I'm willing to make those sacrifices, but then also have enough faith and belief in myself that I'll be able to accomplish. It's not just, you can't just make the sacrifices and it happens. You still have to put the machine together. So I'm trying to be realistic with myself and give a timeline, and then, be realistic about it. Can I accelerate my timeline times 5 and expect to hit those measures? My mind wants to give me 25 reasons. Our minds are better at creating the reason why you can't than you can. In fact, Alex Hormozy, one of his biggest things is he knows that, so he wants it to work backwards. He goes, and this, I should listen to his advice about this, because he says, when you want to build a plan and you're like, okay, I can't do this and I can't do that. It's like, great, start writing those down and go, here's 25 reasons I can't do that. And then just start figuring out ways to do them and solving your own problem.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So you're finding the roadblocks before they ever exist, because your mind is extremely good, talk about survival, at finding why you can't do something.
Right.
So you can eliminate all of the roadblocks. Instead of trying to figure out the path, you can just eliminate the roadblocks, because you're going to hit them anyway.
This is already a good exercise for me, because half of my mental energy while you were talking, was doing what I try to practice in my daily life for the last year or so. And that is keeping my mouth shut and not finding the answer to the immediate thing that you said and interrupting and going, you know how to fix that?
Yeah.
I've got a trick for you.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to listen and engage in a way that allows you to speak and be heard, which is really rare.
Yep. It's a skill that I have yet to master. That's for sure.
I need practice, lots of practice.
Do you ever hear Bert Kreischer talk?
I believe so, but I cannot picture him right now.
Bert and Tom have the Two Bears, One Cave.
Oh yeah.
One of
the machine.
Yes, the machine. So, his biggest thing, which he's my spirit animal when it comes to this, is interrupting. He literally just owns it, and he's like, I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to do it. He's like, I can't stop it. I live for it. He'll spend the whole episode saying he's not going to do it, and he literally can't help himself. But again, his incantations. He's saying he can't do it.
Right. He's creating his truth in front of himself.
Right.
Yeah.
And it accelerates his career. So I know.
And he's giving himself the excuse to do it before he does it.
Yes. And it makes it watch worthy and listen worthy. So it all makes sense at the same time. But
we come from a family, one side of our family that used to see us all as a group maybe 6 or 8 times a year. And we would be together for his mom's side for 12 hours, 14 hours for these events. And we had cousins our age and then a bunch of aunts and uncles, a pretty decent sized family. And the conversation, whether it was within our small group as children, or it was listening to the groups of aunts and uncles. So there's 10 adults over here, 14 adults over here talking about something. And then there's 6 of us kids over here. And it's the same thing. It's 2 people talking over each other as fast as possible, and then 3 other people trying to talk over them more loud to interject to solve their problem or to tell them about their problem and how it's relatable. us kids over here,
My throat hurts right now because just talking
thinking about it. Us kids over here, unbeknownst to us, we're looking at that going, that's ridiculous. How crazy is that? And then we look at each other and start talking over each other.
Mhm.
Now, we've discussed this as adults in the last 15 years, that we will increase our volume and our speed dramatically with anyone from this side of the family because we are trained when we're around those people. And you and I kind of find ourselves doing this quite a bit, I think, still, even though we're aware of it. And just, it's louder, it's faster. It's louder, it's faster. It's louder, it's faster. There's no winning this conversation.
It's like there's a limited amount of words that can be had.
I guess.
And I've got to get mine before they run out.
I think it's all about being heard. I want to be heard.
I really haven't pinpointed that. I bet it's an easy one. I've never spent a lot of time thinking about it because I didn't see it as a big deal. But as I progress and do a little more public speaking and talk to people, it's literally a huge pain point. And then when I watch myself and watch other people and I'm like, I don't do that.
I don't think it's just being heard. I think there's a lot of things into it, but I think a lot of us are still kids in many ways, myself included, first and foremost. And what little kid doesn't want to be the center of attention? I want you to look and listen to me because we're talking about me right now.
The kids
How do
are to
I
be seen and not heard?
Yeah. But when you're with other kids or you're now the adult, look at me, I'm talking. I think maybe it may be one of a million reasons. It is interesting to think about. Man, we got way off from excuses.
No, they all go back to excuses because there could be 10 different reasons why we do that. Just per se, a psychologist was here with us and asked about our childhood for 39 seconds and was like, I got it. And we both go, oh crap, you're right. That's exactly why we do that. That's a reason, and it's a legit reason.
You bring up an interesting point. You've been to a psychologist before, right?
Oh, plenty.
Yeah, same. So
I love them.
when you first go in, especially when you first go in, and then maybe this is how it always goes, but definitely when you first go in, how often do they talk?
As much as a doctor does, who knows everything.
Oh, mine have been quiet. Mine are silent.
Oh, really?
Mine use silence as I want to say a weapon because I like to use it as a weapon to draw that silence out in the room. They won't even have to ask me a question. They'll let me talk myself into a corner. They'll let me justify how I got there with my own conversation and then look at me. And I think this is where they come in and throw me the parachute and say, here's your safety net. You're going to be okay. But instead they just look at me and eventually they'll say, what do you think of that? As if I'm supposed to answer my own problem.
Mm-hmm.
And amazingly enough, I usually answer my own problem.
So I think most people who know me know that I proudly say that I didn't know I was in sales till a couple of years ago. We're all in sales.
Life is sales.
So something I've realized, and I've never wanted to be a salesperson, but just realized that's part of life. But something I've realized about it is that in a good way to do it, you don't have to be, there's nothing wrong with sales. You don't have to be snaky about it, but you're really just allowing people to come to their own decisions. A good salesman does not push, does not prod, just ask questions, just like a doctor. And you get the reasoning behind why they want to make a decision, find out when they want to make the decision, and they pretty much end up just going, yeah, you know what? I decide that I'm going to do that. And it was just them talking the whole time and you nodding your head. The decision was made. They were just looking for acceptance in the decision.
So is this what we do to ourselves, or is this what we can do to ourselves if we're monitoring our thoughts from back here? We have a thought and then we ask why. We have an action or an inaction and we ask why. Is that a similar process?
I don't know if we all do that, but I'm sure some of us do.
When I get the opportunity to step back from my decision or my action or inaction and monitor and say, why did I do that? Is that a similar process? Is that diagnosing myself in the same way
it's a microcosm
would be?
So this is 2 days in a row. And I'm not ashamed to say this, but I'm programmed to say that saying. Even though I'm not, just the shame thing. It's just
you got to wipe that out of vocabulary.
It's fine, but what I'm getting at is that on the way to work yesterday and today, both, a car, and I drive like an old man. I don't need to get in any wrecks. So I'm just behind people, and at 7 a.m. in the morning, everyone has to get to work and they're all late apparently. So 6:50 when I'm trying to pull into the shop, there's always somebody trying to turn the wrong way down the street or cut someone off. And I'm pretty good at seeing things coming, but somebody does something stupid, cuts over 2 lanes, and I have to slam on my brakes, and I'm already going slow.
Yeah.
But a very defensive driver in myself has to almost stop from getting in a wreck, and immediately I yell something. And no cussing or anything like that, but oh my gosh, something like that. Just like, and as soon as I say it, I go, I said that.
You're aware that you yelled.
Yeah. And I'm like, why did I react like that? Like, I'm not surprised that an idiot did idiot things.
Right.
Why did I just make a surprised reaction?
And it's also not your problem.
Right. And then for like 4 seconds, I feel silly that I did something uncontrollable.
Yeah.
It's just a trigger. And then the next day I did the exact same thing and almost like within a block of each other. And I'm like, oh, I got some unwiring to do that I didn't know that
you haven't
I had.
learned the lesson, so it's repeating itself.
Yeah, and you don't get it's tough to recreate an instance where it happens because it's instantaneous.
There's an old military saying that says, the beatings will continue until morale improves. So you're going to keep getting the same lesson, so am I, until we get it, because then the lesson will be different. But I'm curious, have you noticed, or what do you think about, because I'm similar in traffic. I used to yell, scream, pound the steering wheel, whatever I would think was a quote normal reaction. And I'm wondering now, how many of those times when that's used as an outlet for the perceived crappy morning you had on the way in, or the perceived looming of the crappy afternoon you think you're going to have, and there's a crack in the armor and it opens up and exposes an outlet for negative energy.
I've had these thoughts.
And you take that shot.
I've heard other sayings like when you cut a lemon, or an orange, only what's inside of you can come out.
You got to explain that one to me.
In such a way, like you're not. I can't remember who said it, but it was more or less. I think it was something about relationships, more like if you don't have any love to give, you can't squeeze something that doesn't out of something that doesn't exist.
You can't get blood from a rock or something like that.
More or less. So if somebody's bitter inside and you squeeze them, you're going to get bitterness out of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm with you. In such a way. Sorry I don't remember exactly how it went.
We'll look that one up.
It related it to an orange, like squeezing it. You know what's going to come out of it. You can't expect something different to come out of it.
So if you plant corn, you're probably going to get corn.
But I actually have a great morning routine going right now. If I have one thing going for me in that aspect, and I was feeling great. That's what bothered me is I was in a wonderful mood, and that's what I said. I didn't cuss. I just blurted out something that didn't mean anything, but had a hot flash, and was like, I'd like to not do that anymore. Because when you mentioned maybe somebody's bad day coming out in that reaction,
yeah,
that's what I think about when I see other people doing it. Or if I have someone else in the car and they're freaking out, I'm going in my head, and maybe I'm holier than thou in doing so, going, one, that's what I used to do. And two, you just don't realize that none of that matters. And three, were your expectations any different than what we're seeing? Right. These are exactly what happens every day. Why are you acting like this is something out of the ordinary?
Let's further that thought. Is it okay that you're angry?
It is.
I think so.
It is. I would prefer to have a different reaction is all. And I believe that I can program that. I don't know how to yet, but it's something that I want to investigate.
Repetition.
Again, how do you replicate that instant?
You don't. Well, maybe there is a way, because throughout your day, there are microcosms of being cut off in traffic, in the office, on the phone, face to face with people. You're just more apt to not scream and yell and give someone the finger when they walk into your office and tell you bad news.
I wonder if being in public, because if I was on the phone or something, because during the day, I am interrupted constantly. And I used to become bitter because it is you cannot think, it's very frustrating when you can't think about the same thing for more than 9 seconds. And it used to negatively affect me, and I have surrendered and said, this is my job. If I can't...
Through the distraction.
If I can't handle this, then I shouldn't be doing it.
Gotcha.
And have just got better at it in that aspect. So it
So you didn't ask for less problems, you asked to get better.
right. And in this situation where someone just uh again, I want to be very careful to say they didn't make me react that way. And I didn't choose to react that way.
That's tough. Yeah.
I didn't choose and they didn't make me. So it's programmed, obviously. It's programming. Conditioning. Already did that one.
Reactionary. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't purposely program that one, but it is. So
So reactionary responses in humans, maybe some of you know, maybe some of you don't. I used to be in the military and work local PD as well. And most people don't run towards the sound of gunshots or screeching tires or screaming people or a fight going on.
if they do, there's a bigger problem.
Usually. But that's what you're trained to do. No one goes into the academy or hits the street and just has that. Well, some people do have an innate blueprint built into them that I think that they're designed to help in situations, but it's not a common thing. We'll call it that. And so you're kind of you are fighting
Survival
your
mechanism.
mechanism that says that's dangerous, stay away. Overseas, there were a couple of instances that I can think of where your job was to go towards the thing. And in the forefront of your mind is that thing could kill me and all of my friends, but you had to do it. So you went towards it anyway. And if there wasn't tons of repetition and training leading up to that, there would at least be a break somewhere on that line that goes, I don't want to go over there, but you're all there together. And you're essentially, once you're there, it's I protect you, you protect me, we protect him. And that brotherhood just keeps you together. So now no one has a choice, but I guarantee it goes through a lot of guys' heads. Now, there are some real genuine people out there, some real unique people out there that probably thrive more than anybody else under the circumstances. And it's not that they're psychopaths, not that they're angels. It's just that they are a very rare breed.
Mm-hmm.
I think Goggins says something to the effect of, when you send 10 guys into combat, 8 aren't supposed to be there or 7 aren't supposed to be there. 1 or 2 will do the job, and there's 1 real warrior. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. So these are where the stories of heroes and legends come in.
So if I'm going to tie that back to excuses and reasoning, honestly, so it's training. I don't want to completely go back to conditioning, but it's training, whether it's on purpose or not. Our body and our brain is already built to withstand, outlast, survive, and create any excuse or alibi or reason necessary to survive.
Well, your typical conditioning you're talking about specifically for this is what you were thrown into in your life and went through because you were put there. And then you learn from that environment. Training can be chosen. You can choose the training. You're not necessarily choosing the conditioning of driving to traffic because you have to take that route into work. You're not training the conditioning of, I got to take a phone call from this irate person. But you can use that as a training model now. You can transition that in your mind and say, now I'm on the training floor. Now I'm on the training mat. Now we're at the range. Now I'm going to use this environment that I don't have a choice to be into and use it as a training environment instead of it's my environment and I react how I react.
So how does a person know if their reason is an excuse, an alibi, a legit reason, or all three? Because everyone can go right now and take a piece of paper and write at least 3 things that they would rather be doing, want to do, have always wanted to do, and go, well, I can't do this because of that, I can't do that because of this, and I can't do that because of that, and I can close the book because I am certain that all those things are true and I don't have to feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I, with that same person, as to look at those 3 and say, I'm going to analyze my reasoning that I am going to challenge my brain to see is this something I morphed to make real, or is it real? Should I feel bad about it? Is it an excuse? I mean, 2 different people or the same people could have the same reason, and one could say it's 100% real and there's nothing you can do about it, and the other person could say it's an excuse and you could change it, and they're both right.
Well, that sounds like a subjective answer to that, but I don't know. Let me give you a personal example of a failure because we haven't done that one. And it may feed into this a little bit. So a couple of days ago, I decided to go on a meat and water diet. Why? Because I'm weird and I like to do weird shit. And it was challenging. I decided it's been a while since I've made a promise to myself that was difficult. Not that there's plenty of difficult things that pop up in life, but every now and then I think it's good for me to remind myself that I am capable of difficult things, and I wanted to kind of reset my body. So I wanted to get my sleep right and my food right, first of all. So water, sleep, food. So I'm making sure that I'm drinking close to a gallon of water today. I'm making sure that I'm in bed correctly at the right time, not on my phone, not on the TV. I turned the ball game off the other night in overtime because it was like 9:30. I'm like, no more of that.
Wasn't the Chiefs.
And correct. Um, and
Turn that off at halftime.
yeah, I went back to later. Sorry, way off track. But 2 days into this, just 2 days into this, my wife says, "What are you making?" Because my son's a great cook. He's making a taco deluxe platter. And I've taken 2 pounds of ground beef from the cow down the street, and I'm making ground beef and salt in a pot with a little water. And I'm just letting it
At
cook.
least you have salt. You're living it up.
Part of these hard things is I'm hungry. I'm going to try and only eat 1 meal a day. And what I have to eat or what I get to eat doesn't always taste good, but it's going to be good for me. So I'm doing this thing 2 days in, only 2 days in. And my wife says, "Hey, is there enough for me to eat?" And I go, well, sure. I was going to eat half tonight and half tomorrow, pound of beef. But if you want some, that's fine. I'll make something else tomorrow. It's like, okay, great. And this has been cooking for about 10 minutes. Again, beef, water, salt, slowly in a little saucepan with a lid on it. And she says, "You're not going to put anything else in there?" I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, onions are good for you." And I go, "Yeah, onions are good for me." And she goes, "And they make it taste better, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, they would make it taste better." So 5 minutes later, I diced up an entire onion and put 2 cloves of garlic in it. And it was delicious.
I bet it was.
It was really good. Meat, water, salt, onion, garlic. Slow cook.
You're really stepping it up.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
However, as I'm eating it going, "This is delicious," I'm realizing this is not just meat. And as I lay in bed, my brain is reviewing this, not voluntarily. It's just going over it. And it's going over it because there's some piece of me that feels, I don't want to say guilty, but almost guilty because I didn't stick to the promise to myself. So I guess it was feeling guilty or bad or whatever it was. And my brain went immediately to what I have learned my entire life. When you train someone or yourself, when you go on a diet or you go on this training program, you go from 100% of where you were. So I was eating 4,000 calories of crap every day. So my plan is for the next 10 days to go to 3,800 calories and then 3,600 calories from day 11 to 20, and then work my way every 10 days down to where I should be eating at 2,600 calories a day. Instead of the fact that I'm not a tree, I can make a decision and move today. If I say tomorrow I'm doing this thing, there's no progressive step towards this. And this is why I'm a broken record with this. Peace through discipline is my philosophy, because discipline does not get easier with every right decision. It just hardens your mind to the idea that you can make the right decision. It was not easy for me to look at my wife, who I knew was going to eat that meat, and go, "No, it's just meat and water." Did I know that's what I should have said? Yes, I made a poor choice. But just because you're on a progressive scale of weight loss or running faster or lifting more or reading more does not mean that you have to make that progression slowly. You can flip a switch and say, "I'm going to do these things tomorrow," within reason, right? And I failed at that. And I was laying there in bed going, how was that so easy to do? I decided progressive steps all of a sudden on day 2 instead of day 1. I had a plan, do it on day 1, go all the way through. But instead, I gave myself an excuse in the moment that it was fine to now be progressively better and not just better. And I found that really interesting, laying there going, should I feel bad about this or should I feel good about the fact that I recognized it today? I don't know.
And as always, yin yang, it's a microcosm of both. It always is. It's tough to find a situation. The answer is not always both sides of it. But I'm going to take a piece of that from what you said and say, I'm going to make the assumption that you've learned that's in your life and in others that you've investigated that, again, peace and discipline. Your success comes through discipline to you, and to me, I'm learning this as well. So when you can look back, and the quicker you look back, the better, and notice that there was a break in the consistency, and without a doubt, consistency is the key. And
Right.
if you lose it, it's all over. And you can think about an injury. I mean, those of you who work out and stuff, you get injured working out, you can lose a year of progress in 6 weeks, and that's just
Possible.
overnight.
Yeah.
It's just, so one little chink in the armor and you're not going to get there. So you should be deathly afraid of looking back and going, oh my gosh, it's the one time. Now, granted, you can also, the yin and yang side of it, go back and go, it's totally fine to forgive myself and have,
Right.
and notice this,
Identify the failure.
notice this thing and be totally fine. I can now accept that, taking a little longer to get where I want is more comfortable, and I'm okay with that. And I'm still ahead of where I thought I'd be 2 years ago, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And still take comfort in that, but next time.
Right. And what
next time.
Exactly. And I learned from your failure. And what I'm doing is not for everybody. Some people will never do anything but those progressive steps, and that's perfectly fine.
I've been losing the same 10 pounds for about a year.
Congratulations.
So I know where that is, and I know consistency and discipline. It's like, oh, well, everything I just did just went away with 2 weekends of cheating.
This is why diet is a 4-letter word. That's an entirely separate podcast. But diet is such a 4.
I think I really like that 10 pounds.
I hate this. I did good and I came off. I did good and just change your lifestyle.
Right.
It's so easy, right? Just change your lifestyle.
So easy. Let me tell you how easy it is.
Just don't beat yourself up when you fail, because failure is part of it.
Right. And that's the whole thing of it, is you can make big jumps, whether I've seen so many things in life, playing poker, playing golf, any sport really, where you've never played. Oh, you're really bad.
You're going to suck at it.
Well, you're really bad. And then if you put a little effort into it and listen to people and listen to how you're supposed to do it, you make this big jump from never playing to amateur, where you can kind of compete, you can get in there, you can mix it up, you can get in the lineup. But to make the next step is one of the most difficult things you'll ever do. And that's where most people give up. Music.
Yeah.
You've gone down that road of,
absolutely,
it takes a whooping a day, some crying, and a couple hours of practice.
That's right.
And you will be a professional by your time you're 14.
That's right. Dr. Suzuki said 2 beatings a day.
So,
to make the kid good.
And it works.
It works.
I will tell you from experience, it does work.
I did not have self-discipline built into the system at 18 when I moved out, and I was like, violin.
Yeah, but that's, again, the both sides of it. You have to have both sides of that. You could never see one side without the other, unfortunately. Right. We definitely live in a grass is a greener world, and
that discipline did teach me things. Most of them were negative, but I identified them, or identified some of them.
Something Joe Rogan mentions all the time, and I'm on the same page. He doesn't play golf. He doesn't do gaming, and he's done both a little bit, but he obsesses about stuff, and I have a similar issue. I've only got so much time.
Right.
And I don't mean just in life, but every day. I have limited time on this earth. I'm going to make sure that if I'm going to get into something, I want to be really good at it and go a long ways with it. And music taught me that. The Suzuki method taught me, oh my gosh, you got to invest half your soul to get where you want to go. So you can't pick 30 things. You have to go, no, I see golf is going to take, I'm actually in this process right now of backing out. I spent years trying to get better at golf. Tried to get serious about it for a little bit, but the investment that it would take for me to get good at it is more than I'm willing to give it. There's many other things that I enjoy more right now in this phase of life. So
people that are top of their game in any field are always obsessed with what they're doing. And when I say obsessed, don't take that as negative. It's like discipline. It's not a dirty word.
Or being selfish.
It just means that people that can obsess, or people that do obsess over things, if you were able to put a guidance system on that, unstoppable.
Psycho-Cybernetics. It's a book. Can't remember the author, but that's exactly what it's about. Our minds are more or less a heat-seeking missile. It's a guidance system.
Without a target.
Yeah, and you have to constantly just redirect it. And, a ship doesn't move 90 degrees at a time. It's 2-degree shifts.
My training wheels are like this big. They're not very big, but I'm working on them. It keeps me sometimes within the rails. So, it's a fun process, though. I used to hate to read anything. I used to read Conan books once every year and a half. And my memory was so poor that story that I read a year and a half ago that I read every year and a half, most of it was new to me. And in the last 5 years, I remember this was a big joke at the Christmas party at the family Christmas gift exchange about 4 years ago, because my brother-in-law, John, thank you, John, went on my Amazon list and bought me a book called How to Read a Book.
Hey,
And
yep.
this is like a 400-page
Yeah.
snoozer. And it was probably the hardest book I've ever been through.
I used to have the ridiculous belief that when you read a book, you had to read it.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. I don't know who taught me that, but I literally don't, until I was told. I do have a habit I've noticed of listening to other people that if I really believe in you, I'm looking for someone better than me to go, this is how I did it.
Mm,
But I heard someone I really trusted, and I think it may have been Alex Hormozy, forgive me for going crazy on that, who he mentioned limited time, and he mentioned reading books, and he goes, the book doesn't fit me in the first chapter or two, I can't throw it away quick enough because I want to find one that does.
right.
And I can't read them all.
Right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I got to quit. Like I would literally force myself to read the last page on everything. And I'm a slow reader because I want to take it in. Sometimes I read it 2 or 3 times. That has slowed down my
Wow.
reading by a tremendous amount. And I'm excited to just throw a book out if it's not working for me and go to
This
another one.
book was my breakthrough book to get me through some weird shit going on in my life.
But you didn't read the book on how to read a book prior to this.
Nope, I didn't. It was after. But I've read this like 3 times now. So, and I'll read it again.
I was going to say you have 3 more to go, I think, according to chapter 6.
It's again, you know this, they may not, but I have 2 books on my coffee table where I have coffee every morning. One is the Bible and one is Marcus Aurelius Meditations. And the parallels between those two, and even if you read Seneca or Sisyphus or any of the others like that, they are so in line. It's crazy. I just got through reading the Tao Te Ching.
Mhm.
And when I say that, I didn't study it. I literally went through it like a page turner,
Right, you
and
glossed it.
highlighted stuff but the more you look for
I'm sure
something,
you
the
felt
more you
you've
see it.
heard it before. I mean, it's just
Absolutely.
a different terminology of the same.
It was an Eastern look on the Stoic Western, well, still Eastern look, but the Western civilization through the Greeks. So it was really interesting for me to see all of those parallels. But again, the more you look for it, the more you see it, right? So those things are going to pop out at you. But like any other word that is really good to read, if you read it today and you read it 6 months from now and you have any type of application of that in your life, it will probably look different in 6 months. This conversation will look different in a year.
Sure. I mean, it's all
It better for
perspective,
growth,
and
yeah.
the only thing constant is change, and our perspective is not immune to that. That's for sure. It's our, that's something else Alex Hormozy dropped. Don't follow your passions. That's actually something I want to make an episode on sooner than later.
Ooh.
That was I don't want to say it's a lie, but it was a perception that I had until about a year ago.
Follow your dreams.
And there's nothing wrong with that, and you should, but to presume that your income will be based on that and that's how it should go, that that's the best route for you, is that an alibi? No. Anyway, to tie this back, unless there's anything you want to say on this, we can round this out with some just discussion again about how this all ties back to reasoning.
So on the way over here tonight, packing stuff up, I'm sure my brain it wasn't actively like at the forefront of my mind trying it, but somewhere bouncing around my head was, I have studying to do. I haven't read today. I didn't get any cardio in today. I haven't spent hardly any time with my son or my daughter today. They're at home. I'm going to miss out on supper.
A normal day.
A normal day.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have grasped onto any one of those and said, I can't come tonight, but I made a commitment to come tonight. And we've been putting this off. And that's more on me than on you, but we have been kicking this can. Yeah. Kicking this can down the road.
I've got things to do as well.
Absolutely. And this is interesting because the more you become focused on what doesn't have to be a passion, doesn't have to be a dream, but the thing that you become obsessed with because you know it's working for you or believe it's working for you. Now you realize how little time you have. 2 years ago, I was in a place where I thought I had a lot more time to do the things that I wanted. Today, I'm way more progressed in the right direction, and I have no time
I'm
to
caught
do the things I'm supposed to.
in the pendulum of life is abundant and there is more than enough time to do everything.
Right.
And I've only got 1 year to live. I mean, not realistically, but that's what it feels like. Is
Right.
this lifetime is a flash in the pan? It's a blink in an eye. I just woke up and I'm 43 years old. I mean, I plan on being a centenarian. I'm still almost halfway there. So that can be terrifying or that can be comforting. And they're
Could
both.
be relieving to know that you only have a limited time and you know what to do with it.
I think
Takes
that's
pressure
right.
off.
And again, there are both perspectives, and every year they change. And
I think it's Seneca that said a man has two lives, the one he lives and then the one he lives after he realizes he only has one.
that Seneca was a real son of a. Anyway, so whether you got excuses, alibis, or reasons, I think the idea is just to analyze them, spend a little bit of self analysis, and decide what you think they are, and maybe they'll change.
If this
'Cause
message reached you today, send us a message, respond on the video. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear
appreciate
it.
it. Have a good one, guys.
See you.